Welcome to Career Compass, the podcast that helps you navigate the world of work. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's on everyone's mind: compensation. How are salaries determined? What factors are at play? I've gathered insights from government data, textbooks, and real-world examples to unravel this complex puzzle. It's a question everyone asks: how do those numbers get decided? Let's start with the basics: supply and demand. Economics 101, right? If there's a high demand for a skill and a limited supply of qualified people, salaries tend to rise. It's a bidding war for talent. But it's not just the overall market. Industry matters too. I looked at Canadian average weekly earnings from November 2019. Mining was way up there, over $2,200 a week on average. Accommodation and food services, a little over $400. A huge gap? Those averages can be misleading, though. Mining has engineers and laborers. Food service has chefs and dishwashers. Even within an industry, skills and education create massive pay differences, and company size plays a role. Larger companies often have more resources, offering competitive salaries and better benefits. They might have more structured career paths too. But smaller companies can mean faster growth and more hands-on experience, even if the initial salary isn't as high. It's about your priorities. We also saw how labor shortages can shake things up. Remember the NHL lockout or the RCMP unionization? When demand skyrockets, those with in-demand skills have serious leverage. It's not just individual skills. Collective action and understanding your market value are key. So, how do companies figure out what to pay? Compensation surveys are vital. Third-party surveys give a broad overview, while in-house surveys are tailored to a specific organization. Think of it like a map of the city versus a map of your neighborhood. Some jobs pay more because they're less desirable. Sanitation workers in New York City making over $100,000, sometimes more than teachers. That's a compensating differential, higher wages to offset less appealing aspects of the job. Then there are labor market dimensions. A secretary can often be found locally, a chemical process engineer might, or international search. It influences your job search strategy. And celebrity endorsements. David Beckham's millions, even when his soccer skills weren't at their peak. It's about branding and public perception. We've talked private sector, but what about public sector salaries funded by taxpayers? The focus is different. Public sector organizations operate within a budget. Salaries are often determined by collective bargaining agreements with unions. Unions have significant power, especially for essential services. And there's this thing called wage compression, where lower-end public sector jobs pay more than similar private sector jobs, but the top end pays less. Public scrutiny plays a role. People are sensitive to high public servant salaries. Unionized employees have historically earned more, but that union wage premium is shrinking in Canada. The gender pay gap persists, though it's narrowing. Employees in larger firms tend to earn more. Compensating differentials exist for cyclical industries, high cost of living areas, and even industries with negative reputations. And it's not just about the work itself. Are those undesirable jobs inherently so, or is it a historical artifact of lower pay? It's a complex question. Labor market dynamics are crucial. Employers focus on their specific market using competitor analysis. They use compensation surveys, government data, industry groups, and consulting firms to gather information. Data firms are key. Similar organizations used as benchmarks. You collect data on base pay, performance pay, indirect pay, even hours worked. Then you have market lines, job evaluation systems, skill-based pay, and market pricing approaches. You don't need to survey every job every year, sample a portion and update the rest. Interpreting survey data is crucial. Surveys have limitations. They can reinforce historical inequalities if not used carefully. Aging the data is important, adjusting for current market conditions. And don't let market data completely valuation data. The proxy method helps address pay equity issues, especially in female-dominated workplaces. Now, let's talk compensation mix, base pay, performance pay, and indirect pay. The mix varies by company, reflecting their goals and values. Some companies focus on high base salaries, others on performance bonuses, others on benefits. Pay ranges are important, setting minimum, maximum, and midpoint salaries. Companies that pay the most often have employees clustered at the top of the range, while lower-paying companies have a more even spread. It reflects their high practices and company culture. And a final word of caution: don't blindly follow the market. Market data can reflect historical inequalities. Think critically and strategically. Compensation is complex, influenced by countless factors. Understanding it is crucial for both employers and employees. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep advocating for yourself. The world of compensation is constantly evolving. Stay curious, stay informed, and you'll be ready. Welcome.